There is a task I need accomplished.
Who the fuck are you, man?
Welcome back, weary travelers. Here we are, on the precipice of the halfway mark, and I know a bunch of viewers checked out already. And rightfully so, as the show is devoid of interest, action, or drama. Even hate watching is an absolute chore. So let me try to make this quick and short so you don't fall asleep.
I'm fucking hungry now, you know.
Episode 6, Family Blood. For those who want to follow along in the comic, you can find it in issue 29. We begin with Joanna Constantine apparently writing in her diary when she hears Morpheus enter her room. As you can see, girl boss mode wasn't just turned on, but was already on, and she not only shows no fear, but no curiosity. What do we get instead? Cocky defiance. Is that the correct demeanor for a person that keeps a pistol within arm's reach? Also, being that she keeps a firearm close by, why would she sit with her back to the door?
Where did you learn your trade, you stupid fucking cunt, you idiot?
Details matter, and details without spoken words shows character. Thus, another glaring example that the writing and directing are shit, and the girl boss narrative is all they want to show.
This is shit, but hey.
So Morpheus asks for the impossible girl's help as he cannot be involved in any way. Her task? To retrieve his son's head, which has been stolen from the temple it resides at. She asks what's in it for her, and Morpheus replies, whatever is within his power to grant. She accepts, and the next scene is her walking into a French town square while being stopped by two guards. They question her and ask her to reveal what's in her bag, and she shows them it's a severed head. She states he was a rogue that killed her sister and she was bringing it back to show her mother as proof. The guards say she's crazy and allow her to pass after cutting off his gold earring. Now in her room, we see it's Orpheus's head. He asks who employed her, finally asking if it was his father, which she doesn't admit. Later on, she alludes that since the guards saw the head, they'll be looking for her. Next morning, Joanna is visited by Robespierre, and he asks where is the head. She says nothing, and she's taken away to a jail cell. As she dreams that night, she speaks to Morpheus in his palace and informs him of what's going on, and for his assistance. He asks about his son, and Joanna says he offered to sing to her. Then Morpheus says he would if she asked him to. The next morning, Robespierre visits Joanna and says he knows where the head is as it came to him in his dream. He brings Joanna to the crypt and tells him to find the head for him. When she finds him, she picks up his head and tells them who he is, and he sings the song paralyzing them, allowing her to walk out freely. The next scene, we see Robespierre arrested and guillotined as Joanna makes her way back to the island where Orpheus was stolen from. He thanks her and she proposes that perhaps she can visit him, and he says that wouldn't be a good idea. Then Morpheus visits Joanna and asks her what would she like in return for her assistance, and she says more time with Orpheus. And that ends the story arc of Sandman issue 29. Just like the Midsummer Night's Dream issue, this one is also a standalone story. Does this story need to be told to complete the Brief Life story arc? No, it doesn't. But to be fair, it is more relevant to the Brief Life story arc, whereas A Midsummer Night's Dream had no relevance whatsoever to Seasons of Mists. Now, I don't have any issues with the story being added, but I do have tons of issues of how it was told. This is an excellent story weaving fiction with history. In this version, although what happens is accurate to the source material, the character, the drama, the intrigue, the history, and even the themes of the story are all removed just to get from point A to point B.
Fucking hell.
Removing all of the detail makes this entire segment an utter slog. The characterizations are one-dimensional, and the story is pointless to the Brief Life story arc. So what did we gain? What was told that we needed to know in order to continue the Brief Life story? Two things. Jack and shit, fucking all. As we already know from the previous episode, Morpheus knows he has to speak to Orpheus in order to find Brother Destruction.
Shit, Negro. That's all you had to say.
Now, did anything stated in the summary of this episode advance that storyline or provide any meaningful or required context at all? No, it didn't. Nor was it supposed to in the source material, which is why the story is not part of the Brief Life story arc. So the question is, why tell it?
Yeah.
Part of the reason is because of the Impossible Girl. She was, and probably still is, the girlfriend of the director who directed this episode. Do you think that had something to do with including this segment?
Oh, you betcha, yeah.
Shit.
The other reason is story. There really isn't much story to tell in the Brief Life story arc, as it is character heavy. And as I have already shown from the previous episodes that the showrunners have sacrificed character for a woke narrative. Adding in a segment for the Impossible Girl to go girl boss mode checks that box nicely, doesn't it? Now, before we continue with the episode, let's go back and see all of the source material that was left out. As we began the episode with Morpheus asking for Joanna's assistance, and her being questioned by the two guards, then captured the next morning, all of that was just a prologue. The next morning, instead of being met by Robespierre, she's met by Saint Just, who Joanna alludes has met before. As he takes her to Luxembourg via coach, we get a sense of the history and time along with the characters' motivations and attitudes, which is where all of the color comes from in this story. We meet an imprisoned Thomas Paine asking for his freedom, and Saint Just quotes his opening paragraph of the American Crisis, and him using Paine's own words as justification for the tyrannical deeds of the state. When she finally meets Robespierre, he reads to her that he knows her real name and some of her past deeds, telling us the type of person Joanna Constantine is. Granted, the source material is also implying Joanna is a girl boss during her times. However, I totally buy it, as she doesn't do anything that's outside of her own limits. And that brings us to the dream scene when she speaks to Morpheus, apprising him of her situation. In the source material, she flat out asks Morpheus, quote, "Can you? Will you help me?" Again, the source material heavily implies Joanna Constantine is a capable person, and I do accept that she is smart and cunning, and when in a spot of bother, it's not an act of weakness to ask for mercy, as she did with Saint Just on the way to Luxembourg, or to directly ask for help from the Lord Shaper. Using the familiarity she had with Saint Just to appeal to sympathy is her using her available assets and wit to get out of a jam. Also, what is the drawback? Saint Just says no, and she gets imprisoned. Thus, it didn't hurt to try, right?
Yeah.
And of course, asking for the Lord of Dreams for assistance. Why wouldn't she? Whereas, on the contrary, to not ask for assistance would be stupid and wasteful. However, in the woke Netflix world, a girl boss means they can do no wrong and can do anything they want and would never ask a man for assistance, let alone a white male.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
So Morpheus gives Joanna an elixir so she will not forget their discussion and then tells Joanna what to do.
Are you fucking joking?
That's right. Morpheus in the source material is not only an alpha male, but he has agency. None of this is new, and none of this should be surprising if you read the source material. Now, do you think any of this made it on screen?
No.
And by now, you know why, and you can see it's 100% deliberate.
God damn it!
Is that not a clear-cut example of Neil Gaiman not giving two fucks about his creation?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Then the resolution plays out similar to the show, but Joanna has to cover her ears as Morpheus sings in order to not be enchanted by the song. And as she leaves, she doesn't utter a snide and cringeworthy girl boss retort. And the demise of Saint Just and Robespierre is concluded via history, rather than just the next day he was arrested and guillotined.
Holding the bag, it's a complete crap.
Anyway, Joanna hands Orpheus back to the priest for safekeeping, and it finishes with a passage from Joanna's memoirs that she never saw him again, but sometimes in her dreams, and the song of Orpheus hovered around her, yet she could never truly recall it. The end. There is no payment of fee, and there is no asking to have more time with Orpheus. In the source material, Joanna quotes Thomas Paine telling Orpheus, quote, "What we obtain too cheap, we esteem too lightly," thus bringing the story to a full circle. Seeing Joanna in the beginning, asking what was in it for her, and now being the person that she is, shows rather than tells her character development. Here in this version, the show explicitly tells us her character as that is her fee. The writing and directing is so poor and so shitty that they don't even know when they're deliberately talking down to their own audience. Now let's finish the episode. Back in the present day, we see Morpheus and Delirium walking up to the temple with a couple of box-checking DEI extras. Did you see that old guy? He's supposed to be the grandfather of both those DEI extras.
Oh, yeah?
Of course, seeing them is extremely jarring. Again, no attention to detail. Do you really think the director or the showrunners gave two fucks about anything other than the paycheck?
No.
So finally, Morpheus says he's here to talk to his son, and the elder man, who does look appropriate, allows him to pass. So they talk, and Morpheus leaves, now knowing the whereabouts of Brother Destruction, who is on the next aisle over.
Fucking hell.
Morpheus and Delirium go over and see the long-lost brother, and they have a chat catching up on old times. They ask if he'll return to his realm, and he says no. Let me interject right here. All of this is accurate to the source material. The problem is, it is so fucking boring. It's no different than an exposition dump. In print form, the scene is fine, but in moving pictures form, it's boring. There is nothing interesting to see. The characters speak so over-dramatically slow. My hand is itching to hit the fast forward button, or at the very least, watch the scene at double speed. Story-wise, once Destruction says he will not be going back to his realm, there's literally no more story to tell. Everything they do and talk about from then on is just character. However, this show doesn't highlight character. It just mimes the story beats of the source material, while inserting their woke narrative whenever and wherever possible, all to the detriment of the story and our titular character, the Sandman, which as we already know by now, is 100% unacceptable.
Okay, now it is.
So Destruction said the people that died were because they ventured looking for him, which was nothing he could have done about it once they decided to look for him. Now, let's go back and review who died. Bernie Capax. Who's he? The race-swapped guy that got killed walking through an active construction site at night. Now, who is he to Destruction? Per the show, nobody. He was the first lead Delirium had to finding Destruction. How she got it, and how Bernie Capax would have led him to the whereabouts? Who knows?
It's a complete crap.
Who else? Ishtar, ex-girlfriend of Destruction. Makes sense she was a lead, and at least we got to know the connection between them. How did she die? By lighting a fucking candle in her room, which eventually sets the place on fire, igniting a convenient gas leak.
Fucking hell.
And last but not least, we have Wanda.
Cholo.
Are you fucking with me?
He's collateral damage from Ishtar's stupidity, but his death would have been prevented had Ishtar not lit the candle for no reason whatsoever.
You stupid fucking cunt.
Although all of these people died, who is the one the show keys in on to play up our sympathies? The black dude that we got to know all of Jack and shit about, even though there was source material that the show omitted?
No.
What about the god of sex, an ex-girlfriend of Brother Destruction, as she knew him directly and the show actually introduces? It's her, right?
Wrong!
After the strip club explodes, killing everybody inside, the only one keyed in was the tranny.
Fucking hell.
Did the tranny have any relationship to Destruction?
No.
And yet, the show changes the character and keys in on the change at the expense of the story and the source material characters. What a fucking travesty!
This is shit, but hey.
So Destruction packs a few belongings and vanishes into the stars. Then Morpheus and Delirium return to the temple. He enters and they have a brief chat, and then Morpheus does the deed. He tells the priest his duties are done after he buries Orpheus' head in an unmarked location, and he takes his leave back to the dreaming. Upon his return, what do you think Morpheus does?
Oh, shit.
He stops by the library to talk to the insolent Lucian.
Fucking hell.
Now, this is source material accurate. However, it isn't what he says that's the issue, it's how he says it. It's only obvious he's all broken up at what he did, which is completely out of character. As the source material shows, yes, Morpheus is extremely distraught at what has come to be, but his feelings are only displayed when he's alone. But since the show has already screwed up Sandman completely, they can add in another scene showing how much stronger the black female is to the white male.
Fucking hell.
And finally, the episode ends with the three fates talking about what Morpheus did and that they'll be coming for him. And that ends the episode and the brief live story arc. Now look back. Obviously, the Thermidor issue had nothing to do with the brief live story arc. It was a tangential story to pad the runtime. Is that bad? No, but since it only got a half an episode, they skipped over all of the history, character, and themes, making it rather pointless. Now, as we know from Season 1, Desire tried to have Morpheus kill Rose Walker, who was an offspring of Desire, making Rose Walker familial blood. So if Morpheus killed her, even though she was a dream vortex, he still would have spilt family blood, thus making his life forfeit. What the show leaves out, and intentionally so, is the conversation Desire has with Despair. He admits to the entire Rose Walker plot was to trick Morpheus into spilling family blood, but now that he actually has done so, he says he's scared. Meaning, Desire regrets what he did back then and now feels guilt over the entire ordeal. Now tell me, why do you think that was omitted intentionally? Do you think it has anything to do with the tranny Desire being the evil one in the family?
Oh, you betcha, yeah.
I mean, obviously.
Absolute cunt.
Are these stories simply meant to be used as starting points, where the showrunner can pick and choose which elements to keep and which to discard at the expense of the context of the story and characters? If so, then an IP's source material is irrelevant, right? Do you think that's the way they approach an IP? And of course, these woke writers and woke showrunners have the clout to make whatever they want into the woke crap they want. The issue is, they need to glom onto something that already has a built-in fan base to unleash their shill PR team to gaslight to the masses.
God damn it!
Fuck this shit. So let's just go to the grades. If I didn't read the source material, it'll get a 3. That's pretty generous, as I know I would have fallen asleep in the middle. The pacing is slower than a senior citizens marathon. Then add on the fact that nothing exciting happens. Having read the source material, it easily gets a 1. Even if you like the woke narratives, you simply can't deny how horribly paced this episode was and how bland and banal everything was. Being that we had to slog through the first 2 episodes of this story arc, you'd think the conclusion would be a lot more interesting. But it wasn't, even when they jammed in the pointless Thermidor issue into it as well. And that'll do it for this episode. And still, I'm only halfway through this horrible show. As much as I like the comic, this show is really making me rethink how good it really was. I have no idea how anybody could binge this show, as the pacing is utter shit and the characters are fucking annoying. Do I regret saying I would review Season 2 in its entirety? Yes, I do, and I'm glad the show is over after this. As always, weary travelers, thank you for watching, and if you're still watching up to now, many, many thanks. Until next time.
You're a Sandman. Now, Logan, now. Stay out of it!